Well, my name's Fred Krueger, and I'm here to say that I like killing kids the Elm Street way, in their sleep. That's right, I'm a dream demon with my finger knives. Now we're having some fun. So sit back, Jack, now that you know the sitch. Turn up the volume and welcome to primetime, bitch.
Oh my God! All right. Well, welcome to Primetime Bitch, a Freddy's Nightmares podcast.
Yay!
My name is Brandon Windish.
Hello, I am Jack Holloway.
Jack, what are we doing here?
That is a great question. We're going to jump off the cliff, the quarry, and we're going to build this thing on the way down. I think this whole idea started with the idea that Freddy Krueger, such a pop culture icon and horror icon, and then the one thing that I had never heard about. Now I'm decently versed in the horror world. Brandon is quite the expert, but I don't hear a lot of talk about the TV show Freddy's Nightmares.
And it's crazy because it's clearly the greatest television show in history.
Why hasn't this stood the test of time?
It's up there with the best TV shows.
What I love about the Friday the 13th TV series is that you don't get a lot of Jason, and that is no one's favorite part of the Friday the 13th films.
Of course not. You watched Friday the 13th the series so you could watch antiques dealers
hunt down haunted, and you watch Freddy's Nightmares to watch Citizens in Springwood.
I guess that's right what they are. Yeah.
I want to see, what is that pitch of, okay, I've got this idea for this show. Freddy's going to be in it just a little bit, and we're going to go through multiple dreams and kind of a Twilight Zone, but not really. Kind of a Tales from the Crypt, but not think Tales from the Crypt without any structure.
Oh, yeah, that sounds great. Hold on. Let me just line up this rail here. And all right.
Yeah, let's make this thing greenlit.
Actually, I don't think that's too far off. I think the whole concept of by the way, that's what we're doing. We're doing a podcast about the television series Freddy's Nightmares.
44 episodes, 2 seasons.
4 episodes. Should be 144 as far as I'm concerned.
Should still be running.
It should still be running. Every day they should have had a new episode.
But I'm super excited because it's going to be us discovering the show, giving it a fair trial, a fair.
Well, the law's the law.
The law is the law, and I believe
we'll
the law.
discuss later. Yeah,
it's on vacation.
Fair trials are a thing that happen in the Freddy's Nightmares world.
Absolutely.
So how did this happen?
You mean the podcast or Freddy's Nightmares? Freddy's Nightmares, I have no idea.
I don't know. I think
cocaine.
Cocaine. Well, no, I'll tell you how I think it happened. I think what it was probably. Well, we're talking. This show ran like what was it? So
I believe 88 to 90.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
and that's like
prime
time bitch. Oh, there's our side now. Prime Freddy.
Yeah.
Pop and Freddy had even broken out of the horror world. He's toys for some reason.
As Rennie Harlan said, I wanted to make him a James Bond.
James did okay. By the way, first of all, that's a spot on Rennie Harlan.
Well, that's because it's me, Rennie Harlan here.
Oh my gosh, Rennie!
Hello,
huge fan. Deep Blue Sea, Die Hard 2.
Yeah.
Did you direct Cliffhanger?
Don't forget Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger is
Don't forget Cutthroat Island.
Oh my goodness, smash hit!
It's
with your
the best movie I've did.
Map on Ahead.
Yes,
Map on Ahead.
Yes,
it's genius.
Yes, and I was married to Gina.
Oh, Gina, she was a vision. Oh my goodness.
Hey, careful, buddy.
Oh, sorry.
That's my ex-wife.
With only respect, sir. With only respect.
Anyway, I got to go.
All right, see you later, Mr. Harlan.
Goodbye. There's a shark to eat me.
Oh no! The shark was in the studio. Oh my goodness. Well, Brandon, you just missed Rennie Harlan.
Oh fuck!
I know.
Should I just go and have him come back and be the permanent host?
Oh my god. But yeah, sorry. This was this was height of Freddy.
Rennie Harlan's Nightmare 4 was the one that, I mean, they say Nightmare 3 is the one that really did it, but 4 was the biggest hit. It was just this massive success in 1988.
I did not know that. That's amazing.
Huge. And so this comes right on the heels of that. And then we get Nightmare 5 right after that. And then it only lasted for I guess 2 years, but the way I've heard it explained is that's kind of being nice about it. The show, like you said, was 44 episodes. I guess stretched into 2 seasons, and they the idea was it was supposed to be a syndicated show, and they would air it like at midnight at that late night time slot. That was the idea.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, but television's a lot different now than it was then.
Yes,
and like what was happening was these little stations that were buying the package of the TV show would decide that they were going to air it at like 4 p.m.
A perfect time for Nightmares with Freddy.
for children.
Oh, yeah.
So people got pissed, and then the stations just pulled it off the air and didn't really tell New Line that they weren't airing it anymore. So nobody could ever find the show.
That's something I do remember trying to find. I saw a few ads, and every time it's like Freddy's Nightmares coming at, and it would always be there's one at 10 p.m. There's one at it was never
you could not
ironically
set
enough
your
it
watch.
was never prime time.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. I do that's so
Which I
nice.
found out after we named the show.
Sweet irony. But that's another thing that was fascinating about the show is this is obviously pre-internet. If you were a kid, about our age, we'd be in the 8 to 10 range back in 88.
Is that right? That sounds about right.
Yep,
We're the same age. So
yeah.
I guess, 80. I was born in 83.
I was 80.
Oh,
so I'm an
okay.
old-
You're
I'm a fucking old. You're like, get off the podcast.
You know what?
fucking
Let's just
old.
start this over with
What
someone
do you
else.
guys want to talk about? Dan Fogelberg or Pac-Man video games? What do you want to? But this might be for like a young Brandon or Jack. This might be the only way that you could see Freddy.
I wasn't allowed. So,
Oh yeah, what if you don't mind my asking?
I guess that's
as
go ahead.
a kid, were you allowed to watch scary movies?
Dude,
or
I was
R-rated?
not allowed to watch R-rated films.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was. Now, ironically, I was born during a Friday the 13th marathon.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And the way the story is told is my mom was like, "Okay, I'm going into labor," and my dad was like, "Did it have to be now? I'm trying to watch Friday the 13th 3."
That's great. Your dad's a big horror movie
Yes,
fan?
he is, and
that's so
my
sweet.
mother is not, but my dad definitely is.
And your mom loves your dad, so she's like, all right, fine. I'll
No,
watch.
they're divorced.
I am so sorry.
Yes,
Layla,
yeah.
I'm very sorry about
Yeah.
that. My dad's dead.
Oh. Well, his troubles are over.
Rest in peace, Bob Holloway. Sorry. All right, let's get dark. Let's get dark, Brandon.
Well, let's
I'm
get
joking.
dark. No, so I wasn't allowed. I really wasn't. There were a handful of R-rated movies that I was allowed to see, but dude, this stuff was a rite of passage for me.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people, kids our age, there was always one parent or one friend whose parents could give a shit.
And that's the kid you wanted to have the sleepover
And that's
at.
what I did. I always had
Yes.
sleepovers at this guy's house, and his parents would be like, "Yeah, you can."
What a wonderful world. Oh.
So it's crazy because before even we were doing that, I remember I would ask my friend in particular, tell me what happens in Friday the 13th Part 7.
Oh, that's so cool.
Tell me all the deaths. And he
Yeah.
would tell me how this happens. He would tell me in order, and he would tell me about Part 5 and all the deaths. So that's kind of how that was. I had to sneak to watch it. I certainly was not allowed to watch Freddy's Nightmares on television.
Interesting.
There's no way.
Okay. Even televised.
No way.
Wow.
No, because it would have added to the what was being seen as an increasing problem. I was an only child, so it's
true.
like I would just divert my attention into fiction land,
That's amazing.
and usually that would involve movies, and I always thought horror movies were a good escape for me from the kind of difficult things that I was dealing with as a
Yeah.
child. So that's kind of how that worked. Anyway, maybe we'll explore that as the show goes on.
Yeah,
but-
absolutely. That's so, and that's great that both of us, I guess, have gotten into horror almost as a therapeutic sort of weird. My parents both welcomed it. They're like, and my dad was so great. He said, hey, this is just, it's just make believe. And he would explain, now this is an effect. But I remember I was the kid that could rent that I'd get my mom to be like, oh, we're going to go to Blockbuster. We're going to rent this. And then my buddies would come over and we watch. But ironically enough, I was terrified of the dark as a kid. So the horror movies were a way for me to try to get brave enough to get through it. I watched a lot of. I think we've talked a little bit about this. I was a big fan of Up All Night, so I would watch those horror movies, and oftentimes it's Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. So it was a way of trying to deal with that, trying to confront your fears and get over it. But that's really cool that we both are kind of on the same opposite ends of the
for sure.
Ends of the spectrum.
I wish you were my friend when I was a kid, because I would have been over at your house.
Like, what do you want to watch, Brad? It's gonna be great.
Yeah, and then you would have been too scared. You said, can we watch Predator 2 with the lights on? And I said, well, how's the Predator? Then he'll see us.
Oh, that's very true. And then we would wind up covered in mud. It's great.
Like every child sleepover.
It's probably happened to me at some point.
So what,
we've kind of delved into what we're trying to do here is rediscover this kind of strange piece of Freddy.
It's weird. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's a little fragmented here, right? But like that's the thing. So Nightmare 4, huge hit. This TV series comes out. They're just trying to popularize and cash in on the name. They're getting greedy. There's merchandise out the ass, and I really think back to like what we were joking about earlier. I think the pitch meeting was literally Freddy's Nightmares. This is a TV series, and they were like, of course,
this is gonna be a huge hit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's a different scary. It's Freddy hosting a scary story show.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're in.
Yeah.
This is great.
And what's weird is that is a great pitch.
And that is not what this show
not
is.
Not at all.
I'm so excited to. That's the one thing. This show, we're gonna. I like the idea that we are figuring out this podcast at the same time we're figuring out what this show is.
And that's very true, because now. It's crazy because Freddy's Nightmares was developed in-house, right? So it's not, to be honest, it's not like they had to go to a studio, pitch a brand new show, and have the studio say yes, and then do it. New Line Cinema was like, we've got to make money off Freddy. We got to keep making money off Freddy. Let's do a TV show. And then it was up to their salespeople to sell it to the individual networks. That's kind of how it worked.
Okay,
like, totally different than how it is now.
That's fascinating. Wow.
So that's what they were doing, but there was no quality control.
No,
people weren't like,
it's got Freddy, it will sell.
Freddy's Nightmares has never been available to watch. It has never been. Right. It streamed for a minute on Chiller. Do you remember Chiller?
Way back in the day. Shutter, Screenbox. Yeah, dude.
That was it. That was, we're talking probably 2014. Wow. But that was it. It had not ever. It's never been released on DVD, with the exception of 2 episodes on the Nightmare on Elm Street series Blu-ray. Oh. Ironically, episodes that did not contain Freddy.
Why? What? A lot. Oh, I wrote that down.
Not even the pilot.
Why? What? Just in case, just these random episodes, so you can really get a flavor for the show with no Freddy.
Yeah, really weird. So it's not an easily accessible show. You could watch bootlegs. You could go on YouTube and watch it, but there's something about seeing it in the best possible quality, I think, that kind of changes the dynamic of the show a little.
Just a little. It makes it the best it can be.
But it has recently been re-released on a new horror channel that you can get on your device or whatever, called Screambox. And as soon as that happened, I was like, oh my God. It's time to revisit this show. Like, not for me, it's not even a revisit. I've seen maybe 3 or 4 episodes.
I was going to say, what is your history with it? Just 3 or 4?
Never saw it on television at the time. Never. Ever. But I had friends who did. And this is what the conversation was like on the playground. Because I wanted to know. I remember my dad one time telling me, watch Nightmare on Elm Street last night. And my question was, really? And he goes, yeah. And I said, what did Freddy's voice sound like?
Interesting.
And my dad looked at me and he goes, like Donald Duck. I don't know. He's like a scary monster voice.
Your dad didn't say, like this, Brandon.
No, I remember. Oh, Dad. Oh, no. Not my daddy. What happened to my daddy?
You're my little boy. You're my little Bran. Here's your glove.
No, Dad. Okay.
Oh, Freddy and Son. We got a brand new show. Oh, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Freddy and Son.
So I was never able to watch the show, but there were kids who would come on the playground. They would say, Freddy's Nightmares was on last night, and I watched it, and then they would talk about crushing puss, like every third grader.
Jesus Christ.
And I would go, wait.
Wait, what is puss?
What do you mean by that?
And they're like, I don't know either.
Yeah. No, I have no idea. I'm sorry. Wait, can I open up a tab real quick?
Let's open. Oh, this is great. Opening up a tab. Open a tab.
Okay. Here's a funny story about that. I remember in 7th grade, there was this kid who used to always brag about having sex. He was in 7th grade. And he used to say things like this. He would tell us all on the playground. He'd be like, yeah, so I was with my girlfriend last night, and I was licking her click.
Oh.
And she was like, yeah. And anyway, she loved it. And then I would go, click? What's that?
This guy doesn't know what a click is.
Yeah. Little bitch.
You stupid. You're like,
okay.
And then you go, I got to find out what the click is.
Yeah. Well, no, I knew because I was. So no, but then the other thing he said was, he goes, the thing about me is my dick is so big. My girlfriend, she gave me a blowjob and she did like this. And then he would jump. He jumped in the air and would go, oh. And I was like, wait, what are you doing? He's like, sure, she had to jump up to blow on my dick. And I'd be like, that's not.
I don't think.
I mean, I know I'm only in 7th grade, but I hate to tell you, you're full of shit.
Got him.
Yeah. On our next episode of Inappropriate Things with Children,
you pee in the girl. That's how you make the babies. That was Jack Holloway. I was like, I think that's scanning, right? You pee in the girl, right? I knew the basics. I was like, okay, the boy part and the girl part, and something happens. I'm pretty sure it's pee. What a nightmare world we lived in, Brandon. Just confusion.
There's no way to look it up or figure it out.
No, that's the thing. Like, and not to other tab, but like without internet, and also it's the 80s and people I'm more repressed, whatever.
We were all doing cocaine.
We're all the time. That was nice, but just a constant state of what's going on. How do I find out about this? Did you ever? This is a new tab. Did you ever have a rumor about pornography in the woods, like porn mags in the woods? Did they?
Yeah, but I had a little more weirder. I had a friend whose like dad had a woods.
What do you mean, like a woods?
He had a secret bathroom in his house, in their house,
my
and it was
goodness.
locked. And it was the back bathroom. It was the porch, the pool bathroom. And he made it his. He would go in there and he would smoke his cigarettes and just probably jack off all day. Like we would pick the lock and we would get in, and it was like piles and piles of porn magazines and pictures taped to the walls and VHS tapes and all of that. So we had it.
That is like finding the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
You're like, what is this magical world?
Yeah, and that's how I knew that the kid was full of shit when he was talking about licking clicks and getting a job.
I've got photo evidence right here.
Yeah.
You are a liar, sir.
Yeah.
Got him.
He died too. So
Because I killed him. Oh my God.
he drowned in his bullshit. What the fuck? What is this show? So we're trying to figure out what the show is as we go. No, okay. So I would ask kids, what is Freddy's Nightmare? How far we've come.
I love this.
I would,
Can you describe Freddy's Nightmares to me? And no.
And they would go, well, yeah, like somebody has a dream of, going to a dentist and shit, and then that's it. Anyway, Freddy's not in it, so dodgeball.
Yeah, you're like, wait.
And I'm like, wait, what do you Freddy's not in it?
It's the Freddy show. These are Freddy's Nightmares.
And that was it. Nobody would talk to the only kid or kids that saw it didn't want to talk about it because they weren't film nerds or movie nerds or TV. They were just like, they just wanted to beat up other kids. So they, that was literally my experience with Freddy's Nightmare. And even if I wanted to watch it, dude,
Parents aren't going to let you.
no, it was never. I never knew what time it
And
was.
good luck. Yeah, good luck finding it.
So I've only seen as a Freddy head.
Fred heads.
As a Fred head. I've only ever seen the episodes, a couple of the episodes, over the course of my fandom.
True. I think I remember one sleepover, ironically enough, that we set that up.
So wait,
where
you had a sleepover where you guys all watched Freddy's Nightmares?
Mm-hmm. I don't remember which one.
Okay. So you
but I
actually got to watch it in the original run.
when it came out. I don't know what time it was. I remember it was very late at night, so it might have been one of the midnight ones. But yeah, I remember being confused because I thought, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Freddy's going to be in it, or he's going to be the host. It's like, all right, here's a tale for you. But I think it was one of the episodes with almost zero Freddy and being very disappointed. It's like I was told that I would tune in and see.
Well, it's weird, like because that pitch is great. Like Freddy, the world of Nightmare on Elm Street is rich enough that Elm Street is a big enough street, or Springwood is a big enough town.
Yeah.
That people could have the repercussions, the world building that could have been done back in the day.
Oh.
Like they start with that premise, and they do nothing.
No follow through.
And it is weird that you mentioned Friday the 13th because that's another show that did the same.
There were so many shows where they said, oh my gosh, it's going to be a show about Jason. No, we're hunting relics down.
What?
Wait, don't call it Friday the 13th.
Why are you?
I was so disappointed.
We're just selling the name.
Yeah.
We're just selling the name. And
just slap it on there.
But the thing is this was called Freddy's Nightmares.
Yes. So there seems to be, like you said, Freddy's. I'm in. I'm waiting for Krueger to pop up, but
And he does
out of a
deep fryers and
That's another great thing about the show is we've only seen a few episodes, and the goal is we're gonna hold on each episode until the review happens, and then just progress through this. So as we sort of slog our way through, we discover more and more of the show.
And I think that's right. I guess that is kind of us telling these listeners what we're trying to do here. So we're thinking what it'll be like a small season test run of the first 11 episodes of Freddy's Nightmares, right? Like maybe something like that.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. The idea, because there's 44 episodes, and we're saying we'll break up the season, 11 episodes a season, maybe a couple of bonus episodes if we're really into it, where we do it, maybe even just a deep dive into the movies.
Ooh, that could be fun.
So that we're not miserable. And,
a little nugget of joy throughout this.
And
I'm excited to see. I'm sure there's got to be some episodes out there that are
good,
stellar.
And yeah.
They'll find their way.
Yeah.
I've got faith in Freddy.
I hope so. I do too. I do too. In Fred we trust. And most importantly, as Jack has said, we're gonna discover this show as we go.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be,
that's the kind of joy of it, is we're figuring this out together, and we're trying to figure this show out. It's gonna be discoveries.
We'll see.
All kinds of
see.
Or it might be, but you can watch us just gradually getting sadder and sadder with every episode.
The final episode is just like sobbing, and then we get electrocuted because our tears just.
And then you get a bonus stinger from Freddy.
Yes.
Talk about a shock jock. Boom. Off the top of the dome.
That was great.
Channel my inner Freddy. That's for you, Robert.
Did Freddy Krueger show up and give us a one-liner? All right. Well, what is your aside from Freddy's Nightmares? What is your relationship with Fred Krueger?
Oh my goodness. We the 80s slashers is definitely where the love for horror came from. The big ones, you've got Freddy and Jason, Chucky, Michael Myers. I was always a big Friday the 13th fan. That was kind of my jam.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved them all, but I remember what always struck me was no bummers, but I'm a chubby man. I was a chubby kid. I got picked on. I got bullied a little
Aw.
bit. I know it's, but hey, it made me the kind, wonderful. Well, I think wonderful person I am today.
Who
Trying to-
murders people sometimes too when
Every
they pull
once-
it in front of him.
And that's the Jason. I always thought Jason. Oh, he was a little different. He got bullied, and him taking vengeance. I was like, oh, I get it. But with Freddy, now, I want to be very clear. I really enjoyed the Nightmare movies, and Robert Englund is amazing. But I kind of hated Freddy in a good way. Like he was so gross and bullying and terrible that it made me hate him in the best way possible, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Because oh my God,
he's the ultimate troll.
Yes, he is. And I just found out recently, the name Fred Krueger, Wes Craven was bullied as a kid. His bully's name was Fred Krueger.
Yeah.
And so he just pulled, and it all of a sudden I heard that and it just clicked. So my relationship with Freddy was that it has been a really long time since I've revisited the movies. I've seen the original quite a few times. I've seen Dream Warriors. That's probably my favorite one. But some of them, it's been decades maybe. I know. So what's been interesting, I know I'm really excited because I started going through a little bit of kind of the little YouTube series of the greatest scenes, the greatest hits. I forgot how much stuff is in my brain, how many scenes are so horrific or gross or amazing. They are burned in here permanently.
Things that you had like closed the doors
Yes,
on, and then you're
Freddy
seeing
just
it,
kicked
like,
them wide open,
the
like
Fred
the
gates.
the one I mentioned to you earlier. I have a fear of swabbing my ears, and I remembered where that came from. That was from the movie. I'll do it, but I always make sure my elbow's not facing a door in case anybody suddenly. It's a ridiculous irrational fear. It's so that if someone were to throw the door open, my fear is if they will throw the door open, it will hit my elbow and jam the Q-tip into my ear, and that's all from Freddy Krueger. And then
I love the idea that you wouldn't be able to react fast enough to just like let go of the Q-tip. It's very irrational, Jack. It's great.
I try to bring my elbow down.
Yes.
Yeah. But stuff like that, and then I saw I'm not sure which one it's from. The motorcycle.
5.
Oh my. That's another thing. I'm so excited to be able. Brandon's like, boom,
Yep.
Google,
Oh, yeah,
got it.
I got you.
That image of him all melded together,
Yeah.
that weird. I saw that and I went, that's where that's from. So there's all these scenes that have just stayed. The gaping mouths. The girl.
Little kissing.
That's a Dream
needle
Warriors.
holes. That's
Yeah.
the Dream Warriors.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, they're just so evocative and so beautifully done that you cannot watch that movie for a decade and yet it's still up there.
Wow.
So it's interesting. I would say definitely more close with other horror franchises, but I'm super excited to rediscover it.
So you would say that, let's just say of the who are the majors of the 80s? We got
Oh my goodness,
Freddy, Jason,
Chucky,
Chucky in there.
Michael Myers,
Okay, Leatherface?
Leatherface. Yeah, let's
Okay,
get Leatherface
where,
in there.
let's just say those 5.
Those 5.
Where does Freddy fall for you in that?
Freddy might be 2 or 3.
Okay.
I would say Jason's probably 1.
Yeah.
And then the others, I like them all. But that bullying aspect of Freddy was like, I like him so much.
Yeah, he's a total prick.
He takes their he just takes their worst fears and insecurities and is like, ah.
Well, it's weird because I do think about what Rennie Harlan said about trying to make him like James Bond. And when I think because James Bond is a bit of a prick too.
That is true.
And he's always got a little funny thing to say.
He does have a quip. He's a quip machine.
And he's kind of cavalier about with women.
That's true.
And
oh my goodness, this is. He's got, I guess, gadgets. It's kind of like the old glove, the old knife
absolutely,
glove.
Absolutely. And he's impeccably dressed.
He looks good in a tuxedo.
He does look good in a tux. Great. Freddy wears a tux often.
I know there's the tux he wears during the dinner party.
In part 5.
Which is another one burned into my brain with that poor girl getting forced.
Gross.
Ew. Oh, that's bad.
That's gross.
That's upsetting too. I think I saw that when it was at
89.
80. Dude, that's... Oh
yeah.
That's like almost...
Yeah.
That's a long time ago, and it's still up here.
Gross. And that was actually cut significantly because originally he in the movie... You see it. It's like kind of obscure what he's feeding her, but
he's feeding her her.
In the unrated version, he slices her stomach open. He's pulling out her guts, and they're falling back out. And he's putting it back. It's
awful.
Fucking disgusting.
I'm kind of glad they cut that because
Yeah.
I don't know, that might have broken me.
It's gross.
It's great.
It's a little gross.
That's a little much.
Their
Freddie,
big cheeks.
oh,
And it's just
yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Popping out of the refrigerator.
Yeah.
What about you? What is your relationship with old Fred Krueger?
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a vivid memory of being very, very young. My parents tell the story. They say I was 2. I don't think that's accurate, but sure. And my grandparents were watching A Nightmare on Elm Street. And my parents were out. They were babysitting me, and I snuck in. I guess they thought I was asleep, and I snuck in while they were watching it. And I've since come to realize what I saw. I witnessed the scene where in Nightmare on Elm Street 1, and I don't know if you're familiar with it as much, but it's early on in the movie when Freddy's chasing the actress Amanda Wyss, Tina.
Okay.
And he gets her on the ground, and he's like pouncing on her and rolling around, and she reaches up and grabs his face and pulls his face off, and he's just a skeleton, and he goes, and his tongue's going, and it's not a very good look. But apparently I was 2, probably closer to 4. I don't know. That was it. I let out a horrific child scream. My grandparents were like, "Oh, fart!"
Oh no!
So they grabbed me. And here's the thing. And then so they brought me into. They had a jacuzzi tub. Remember those big old jacuzzi tubs. So they put me in this jacuzzi tub to just calm me down, but put water on, warm water or something. I don't know what they were thinking. They were doing tried to drown me.
Oh no! And then they show you the scene where Freddy's glove is coming up from the. They're like, "Here, he's gonna get you." Right. Oh, please! Just traumatized you, poor kid. Yeah. What happened in the tub?
Well, so I'm sitting in the tub, and my mom comes home. Now in the tub, in the bathroom, up on the wall, there's like a portal window. Those little circle portal windows, like a ship.
Yeah.
And my mom comes home, and I guess she saw that the light was on, so she walked past that and looked in the portal window, and she was smiling, and no. I screamed, and I said, "Skeleton Man! It's the Skeleton Man!" And I was crying, and my mom was like, "What is this? What is the problem?" I thought my mom was Skeleton Man Freddy Krueger. And that was my introduction to Freddy Krueger, and I think that's why I was obsessed with wanting to know, because I think I was really afraid of him.
Yes.
And I don't think I watched, because it's weird, I think about Freddy Krueger, and I don't think there's ever been a time in my life where Freddy hasn't existed with me. No, but but I think
he's always
I don't think I watched him until I was older.
Okay.
I don't think.
Do you remember about what age when you first started
because
venturing?
I remember I was a Jason guy.
Oh, okay. That's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was that Friday the 13th was the movies that were on television more because there were more of them.
Yes.
They weren't particular. Believe it or not, most of those movies aren't particularly gory, so they were on TV a lot too, and
that was a lot of Up All Night.
Yeah,
constant stream,
and so. They were, there were boobies, and there was all sorts of stuff that a kid could kind of really get into. And I don't think I got into Freddy Krueger until I remember watching Nightmare on Elm Street 2 at a young age, and 5. I remember when 5 was out on video and it was a big deal, and and I remember the show, but I really don't think it was until I got older that I became big time Freddy Krueger fan, and I am a huge Freddy Krueger fan.
I didn't know that. So, if you don't mind, out of your ranking of the '80s, is he your number one? I think
it has to be Freddy.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
okay.
I really do. Now, but it's weird because I have a higher tolerance for the Friday movies because there's a steep decline for me in the Nightmare movies. I just recently tried to watch Part 5 again. I usually revisit the movies once a year. Mm-hmm. Usually, maybe all of them. And Part 5 is the one that usually doesn't make the cut. Neither does part 6.
Would you, if you don't mind, part 5 is that
The Dream Child.
Dream Child. Okay, I've got some memories in there. There's the little kid.
That's the one with the bike. Yeah, the little kid
Okay, yeah, the bike
from
and
Jurassic Park.
Oh, is that okay? Little Tim.
Can't see Pat. No, not Tim.
Oh.
The kid that's like, dinosaurs are fucking stupid.
Oh,
You're the fucking
that
idiot.
kid. Oh my god, with the best Sam Neill monologue. All right, let me tell you about it.
Yes.
Ooh, then he poops his pants.
Yeah, the kid that shits his pants in Jurassic Park.
Shits his pants after the Raptor story. I'm gonna traumatize this kid.
He's
If you
the
wanted to
kid
scare him,
where-
you could have just pulled a gun, Alan. I love that.
You could have reminded him his dad is Freddy Krueger, Alan.
That is amazing. And part 6 is that Power Glove Freddy?
That's Freddy's dead.
My
Yes.
goodness. Is Roseanne and Tom Arnold in that one?
Uh-huh.
That's a 30-year-old memory there, and it's really gross.
No, it just
strange.
it just doesn't make sense. They come in at that point. Springwood has all the teenagers are dead, and all of the parents are like have mass psychosis.
Okay.
And I guess, but there's still this like carnival that's going on where there's no kids. It's conceptually it's kind of interesting, but it's just a failure on every level. And Tom Arnold and Roseanne, at the time Arnold, show up as parents who think that these characters are their children.
Weird.
They have maybe 2 lines. They talk in some weird country accent like this.
Oh, I remember.
Come
this.
on, Ethel.
Okay.
You're like, what the fuck, Ethel? This is fucking Ohio. Why are they talking like?
Strange.
What the fuck is this?
Strange.
So, yeah. So there's a steep drop off. So, I don't think that there's a Friday the 13th movie that I don't love. Well, maybe toward the very end. Maybe like Jason Goes to Hell.
I was gonna say a lot of people.
And 10, Jason X, which I like both of those movies.
Yeah.
But they're my least watched.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, but and believe it or not, even part 1's like my least watched.
Yep.
But 2 through 8, could do no wrong. Could do no wrong.
Very
and
fun.
they're comfort movies. But Nightmare on Elm Street, I tend to fall in the I love 2, 3, and 4 unequivocally more
Very
than anything.
nice. Okay.
And more than any of the Friday movies too.
Wow, that's okay.
2, 3, and 4, I just think are like a wonderful grouping of.
That Dream Warriors
movie.
is
Dream Warriors, but
something special.
I think Dream Master is my favorite.
Now here's the thing. I'm super excited. I need to revisit Dream Master.
Yes.
Is that one? There is a girl who does kung fu or does martial arts.
It's a dude.
Oh, it's a dude. Is there? I remember a girl doing some spin kicks on Freddy. Is that anywhere?
Oh yeah,
Or
that happens in part 4 after the girl gets the powers of the kung fu.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, I can't wait to watch these movies with you.
I'm
Maybe
really
we get
excited.
to watch them together. Or
Can
something.
I say absolutely? That would be
Yes.
a blast. One of my favorite things is, I guess it's standing up to the bullies or getting powers. Anytime, like part 7, Jason with Tina and her psychic powers, I'm in. The Dream Warriors, when they're able to get those powers and fight back against Freddy, I'm in 100%.
Yes.
I love. That's one of my favorite. The moment where the kids on the run, they're like, all right, we're fighting back.
And in each one of the movies, Freddy Krueger has this moment of realization where he's like, oh
shit! Oh shit! I'm a bitch.
and that's always really, really funny to me. So yeah, but and I have a huge collection of Freddy memorabilia,
I have heard tale of this. I'm excited to see.
and I'm not like there are probably people listening to this that have even more than I could ever have and whatnot. But I there's a time period where they were, like you said earlier, just making toys of Freddy Krueger for kids in the 80s.
Strange. No Jason toys at that time.
No
I don't-
anything. No
Michael Myers.
No
But-
Leatherface toys.
But Freddy, the child killer, let's get a stuffed Freddy toy. Let's get
Yes.
him some gum where his little tongue, and you can
Yes.
bite the tongue.
And I have a surprise
Oh, my
for
goodness.
you for in the next episode that we're gonna break out and talk about. And maybe that's something we talk about on the show is some of the weird fucking Freddy merchandise
Freddy
that
Corner,
came out.
the Krueger Corner.
The
It's
Freddy's
perfect.
Kids Club.
Welcome, kids. We're going to talk about merchandise. Like, yay! Who wants some gum? Yeah, well, don't know.
I guess I'm drowning in gum.
Oh my god.
So anyway, I guess that's where I'm kind of at with Freddy. It's interesting. There's an interesting dynamic, I think.
Freddy vs. Jason. This is it.
Ooh.
This is beautiful. It's wonderful to hear your journey of going. So you kind of started Jason and then migrated towards
As
Freddy
I've gotten older, it's just Freddy, and I think it's because of his personality, and
he does, I will say, just charming as all get out. And it is amazing that either the writing or Robert Englund's performance or just some lightning in a bottle, that this scarred, despicable child killer bully became a God, I love this guy.
It's so
weird. It's so crazy.
Such an anomaly, and the fact that and it's what's really a bummer to me is that I feel like New Line, the company that is responsible for Freddy Krueger, I guess Freddy Krueger is responsible for New Line, really, but they dropped the ball. And I think as we explore this show a little bit, we'll see this show came out. Freddy's Nightmares came out during peak Freddy love.
This is a layup. You slam dunk it.
But they don't do that. And I think, when you listen to the next episode, you'll hear the pilot episode alone, they make some interesting choices.
I'm very excited to talk about that one with you. Goodness gracious.
And it's crazy because Freddy's Nightmares has a veritable who's who of names.
Yes, writers, directors, and actors.
I'm going to read some of the names of the directors, okay? Let's see. All right. Ken Wiederhorn, who
Return of the Living Dead 2.
Part 2 and my favorite, but
my least favorite.
Yeah, and also Meatballs 2.
Oh my god.
The best Meatballs film ever made.
Is that the one with the alien?
Yes. The Jewish alien.
Oh my god.
We had to drop you off at summer camp.
Oh my god.
You're like, what?
What is happening?
Why was that the decision? Okay. Another director, Tom DeSimone, who this is kind of obscure, but he plays a guy in a Friday Part 5. He's the sleazy ambulance driver who goes, weather report, snow flurries up your nose.
Okay.
And then does the coke and then gets an axe in his head.
Yep.
That guy.
Okay.
Is a director of 4 episodes.
Interesting. Oh, they really liked him.
They did, yeah. William Malone, who directed, do you know?
I don't
House
know.
on Haunted Hill remake.
All right.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
And a bunch of Tales from the Crypt.
Ooh, very nice.
Let's see. Who's another? John Lafia, who directed, I think, Child's Play 2.
Wow. Okay.
Recently deceased.
Oh, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Good old Bobby England.
Yes, I'm super there. It's great when I hear these things. I was like, I can't wait to get to that episode.
Yeah.
He's directed 2, I believe.
Yeah, you're right.
Robert Englund decided to get behind the camera.
The nicest guy in Hollywood, Mick Garris, directed a couple episodes.
Oh my god. Okay. Critters 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Critters 2. And The Best Shining.
Unarguably the best.
Good old Toby Hooper.
Oh my! Took over for the pilot.
He sure did. Tom McLaughlin,
Director of my favorite Friday the 13th,
Part
6.
6.
Jason Lives.
Yes.
I love it. Perfect, camp balance, but still fun, still silly.
I'm curious to see what episode he directed and how that feels. It looks like he did one early on in the show. So
okay.
Dwight Little, who
Right.
directed Halloween 4.
Okay.
Which is
Yeah.
I think it's a really good movie.
This is very funny. They brought old Michael Myers back. They're like, all right,
Yeah.
you guys didn't like the masks. We'll come back.
I don't blame them. And then I'll just do another one here. Gil Adler, who went on to be an executive producer of Tales from the Crypt.
Oh my! So a lot of Tales from the Crypt. Oh, they had the formula. Wait, now at this point, I'm trying to think. 88 Tales from the Crypt is not out, or is it out at this point?
The way I think that Tales from the Crypt was 89.
Okay.
I think.
That sounds right.
But I think that what ended up happening was the way I've heard it is Tales from the Crypt was outrageously over budget and
Interesting.
over schedule, and because they were hiring these auteur directors to make the show, and they just could not, and HBO was like, "Fuck, we got to do something." They brought over the crew of Freddy's Nightmares to do Tales from the Crypt.
This is amazing.
How about that?
This is amazing.
How about that?
Okay.
So then, and a bunch of writers, Michael DeLuca, ended up being a writer on the show. Well, I'll spare you the writers for now. And then, how about some actors?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Would you have?
I have a few.
Okay.
So obviously Robert Englund, just a little bit,
Yeah.
just occasionally.
Real, you're not wrong.
I did look up. He is an out of well, actually, I'll ask you. Out of 44 episodes of a show called Freddy's Nightmares, other than like the little bumpers he does occasionally, where he'll pop up.
Okay, so not the bumpers.
No, or sorry, not bumper, but
No.
just a quick like, hey, there's
Yeah.
a story gone. How many would you suspect Freddy is like a prominent figure in? Out
The
of
main
40
character, or not? Maybe maybe
maybe heavily
influences.
Yeah, out of 44 episodes of a show called Freddy's Nightmares.
44. I'll be. Well, I mean, I would hope everyone. We know that's not the. I know that's not the case. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say half. Maybe half.
22.
Yeah. Let's just go with 20.
I like it. 8.
Oh, fuck you.
And I mean,
What?
we'll find out if that is true, but that is what I have.
Oh
That's what
my
I've read.
God.
That only 8 are some mention of him, some tie of him to the story. So 8 out of 44.
What are we doing?
I love it. That's the thing. It's a baffling. It does feel like just a setup for a show. You oh, okay, cool. Freddy is our host. We talked a little bit earlier, like, oh, Tales from the Crypt. These are Tales from a Crypt. There's a little crypt keeper.
Yes.
He tells you, all right, tonight's Terror Tale. And then, okay, that's what Freddy's going to be. He'll be like, this is my dream world, and here are some scary stories. I'm like, oh, cool. It's not. It's not that.
Jack, you make a face when you do Freddy.
Oh, I dropped my mouth to one side.
You look more like a drunken sailor.
Possibly if I had some kind of stroke.
Yeah.
This is my hand curls
your
back. It's
hand
like,
goes
I've
up
got,
to your
this is my claw.
Almost like you're petting your parrot that's on your
yeah.
shoulder.
Arr, matey. It's very fun.
I want you to do it every episode. I hope it's
It's gonna constantly.
Yeah,
become
it's
right.
gotta be.
But sorry, actors.
Yeah.
Horror legends galore on here. Bill Moseley, I know from all over the place, but Chop Top from Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2.
Yeah.
If you're a big Breaking Bad or Better Call
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. You gotta cook some meth up and break bad. Breaking Bad, filmed before a live studio audience. You have
In stereo.
Oh, Jesse, we gotta cook. There's Tuco, Raymond Cruz.
Oh, okay.
He's in it. Morris Chestnut is in there from Under Siege 2. That's how I know Morris Chestnut.
Morris
apparently.
Chestnut. I love that. That's how you know him, because
I wrote that down, and I know the name, and I know the face, and I know he's been all over. But I'm like, oh,
has
from
he? I only know him from Under Siege 2.
the cook, the KC Ryback.
Yeah, the one that is like the love interest for a 14-year-old Katherine Heigl.
A little
But so is Steven
strange.
Seagal, by the way.
God.
In that movie.
It's so gross in that. That's a weird one.
I don't know what's up with that movie, but Eric Bogosian.
A great playwright, Eric Bogosian, shows up.
That was a movie that I watched at
I-
R-rated that I was allowed to watch. Under Siege 2, we watched in Scout Camp. They put that on.
You kids want to watch Dark Territory?
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I want to know what Dark Territory is.
I remember loving it. I still kind of love that movie.
I do too.
Yeah. Every
It's
time I see it streaming for free, I do watch it late
Brandon,
at
I
night.
got to take a revisit of Under Siege 2. There are some movies that I'm like, why is that still up here? This shouldn't be occupying state capitals. Have gone away,
dude.
But Under Siege 2, I haven't seen it in a decade. I can still tell you.
I can't tell you my grandparents' birthday, but I can tell you who
God.
directed Police Academy 4.
Oh, who was it?
Oh,
I'm sorry. Oh, I ruined the bit.
Jerry Paris.
That's
I
it,
think.
Jerry Paris. Of course.
I don't know. I could be wrong. Smash the subscribe button and leave a comment and tell me.
Hit that like and just molest that subscribe. But for the horror icons, the big time, you got Dick Miller. Dick Miller
What?
from Gremlins and everything ever.
So there's a lot. Okay.
Oh, and
all
that's
right.
a couple more. Just on the horror kick, Jeffrey Combs as
No
well.
shit.
The Reanimators, and I'm really excited
Oh my
to see
god!
when he pops up.
I love watching Jeffrey Combs act.
If I may, there is, I don't know if you've seen this, there is a beautiful interview with a young Jeffrey Combs, and the interviewer says, Mr. Combs, you do Intense so well. Can you show us, what is that like? And I love the man so much. He, in a second, quickly puts on a pair of glasses, and snaps right into it.
No.
And I'll show you the.
Yes.
It's just wonderful. I'm like, oh, you are just charming. And there's a guy. I kind of faded into obscurity. Brad Pitt's in this.
I don't.
Brad Pitt. He was in Thelma and Louise. He played a minor part there, and then he was. I'm trying to think. He did a Tibet movie, I think.
Oh, Bradley Pitt.
Bradley.
You
Pitt.
said Tibet, and I remembered. That's
Bradley
the one.
Pitt?
That's the one. That's
You know what's
the
funny?
one.
I was trying to think of really bad Brad Pitt movies, and I couldn't. I was like,
No.
that man. Hey, just quality always. Well done, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, good job,
Except
Bradley.
for
Freddy's
Freddy's
Nightmares. Oh my God, I can't wait. I
I
so
have no idea.
I'm kind of lamenting the idea that Freddy's not a major character in every episode, but
We're
there's
gonna meet.
enough to look forward to.
We're
huh?
gonna meet a lot of friends along the way.
I can't wait.
I like
okay,
this.
all right. We'll see how we feel in a little while, but like for now, now here's a question I have for you. Do you think, do we want to rate each episode?
Oh my goodness.
Do you think that we should have like some kind of and if so, like what would our metric be?
Oh. I love yeah. I know I don't know if the metric off the top of my head. Trying to find the good in it, trying to find the bad in it.
Well, I
trying
mean,
to
like,
find
well, okay, so, well, I guess what I mean too is like, what do we rate it out of? Like,
out of 4 finger blades. We
finger
give
bla-
it 1 out of 4 finger blades.
okay. Do we
No.
want to do finger blades?
Oh
no,
my
is that dumb?
God. I'm all for dumb. I'll try anything.
Finger blades or
could this what, and this might be garbage, but why not? If we equate it to a corresponding movie and how much, so if you didn't care for a movie, you'd be like, this might be a Dream Child. Or if you absolutely love, or sorry, an episode. If you love an episode, that might be Dream Warriors.
Now, that is great.
Oh,
That's great on a scale of
on the scale of
we could probably go with the
on a scale of 1 to 6.
Dream Warriors tends to be the prime. You know, I think that tends to be that's a great idea. So okay, so if Dream Warriors is like everybody's favorite, that's a 6.
Mm-hmm.
If the least favorite is,
if you had to choose a least, and I didn't ask you, how do you not to segue, I love this, we're on New Nightmare. I always thought was I remember I've only seen it once.
Okay.
And so whatever year it came out, I think I might have been
94 maybe.
I was 14. The meta stuff, I was like, oh, this is pre-Scream.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it, but it was very strange.
I'd have to a lot more clever, you know, than it is good or scary. I think.
Do you think it was too focused?
Well,
on...
I know I'm in a vast minority here, but like that movie does not hold up to me at all. I do not think it's.
And again, I haven't seen it in forever.
No,
but I would love to revisit.
It has some interesting ideas, and then it has some.
It is
really bad effects that are like 1994.
Yeah. I remember his face looking different and strange.
The design is. I think the design is terrible.
Interesting.
And I have this. There's this thing that happened, and.
Oh my God! Whoa!
Oh no, pizza!
For those listening at home, Brandon is being chased down by his microphone. It is trying to insert itself into his mouth.
I tried to back up, and this microphone is. I guess it's.
This would be if we nodded off on the podcast. This would be how all of a sudden the mic is.
Oh my God, that was scary. That was of Wes Craven saying, "Nobody talks shit about Nightmare on Elm Street."
It's like a fairy tale.
7.
Hey, it's like a fairy tale. Don't you get it?
Wes? Did we channel Wes Craven all of a sudden?
Oh, Brandon, what happened? Where did I? I'm sorry.
I guess Wes Craven appeared.
Drifted off for a second.
He sounds like an old wizard.
Oh. I hear you like Dream Warriors the best. Well, I'll have you know I created it.
That's true. You did.
Oh,
you
yeah.
did write part 3. They threw out a lot of the things that you did, but you were involved. Yeah.
It's my character also.
Who, Freddy?
Yes. I think. Did I? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you did.
I get a little fuzzy all these years off the planet. Did you see Red Eye?
Oh, I did. Yes.
I really like that one.
Yeah, that was congratulations on doing the. How about I also enjoyed Music of the Heart.
Oh yes, I remember that one. Some of my knowledge is limited. Oh my gosh, it happened again.
Oh, Wes. Oh, and you.
We
Jack.
are being visited by, this is crazy, ghost of Wes Craven.
Yes.
Rennie Harlan.
Rennie Harlan showed up. He's right outside.
Oh my God.
Rennie Harlan's actually the producer of the show.
He's my Uber driver. I appreciate it. We're just a couple more minutes, Rennie. This is great. I'm sorry. So we've opened too many tabs.
Yes, we have.
We
It's
were talking.
closing in on itself.
I love it. Eventually, we're just gonna. You were talking about rating system.
Oh,
and
okay,
perhaps
so-
equating the movies to levels of
Let's
enjoyment.
just say that part 6 is the least loved.
Awesome.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Go with the kind of consensus of fans, I guess.
I don't know. Depending on the day of the week, I feel like 5 and 6 are interchangeable. 5 is a slog, but
True.
it's not fun. But 6 is, I think, considered by most people to be the worst.
The Power Glove broke him.
Yeah. And then, I would say if Dream Warriors is the best, then I would say the first one is underneath that.
Oh, that's a good. What falls third? Was that be Dream Master?
I'm going to say Dream Master because you can't fault
dig
the
it.
fact that it was the most popular movie. Obviously, people loved it.
I dig it.
Then I guess 2 is the weirdest, is the outlier.
Yeah, 2 is the.
So, maybe 2 can be, we can look at it as, not that it's weird.
It's a strange.
There's probably going to be a lot of 2s.
Yeah, I like it. There's gonna be some 2s. There's gonna be some weird stuff.
So we'll so on a scale of 1 to 6, it'll be a Freddy's Dead
okay,
would be the worst.
awesome.
Dream Child.
Is a.
I guess that's
kinda,
a 2.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or-
Dream Child is like a,
It's kind of a slog.
yeah, it's a slog, yeah.
Little weird and strange.
Freddy's Revenge is interesting,
okay.
but weird. A Dream Master is, hey,
Not bad.
pretty fucking wild.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty wild. And then an OG or Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's
How about a Nightmare Prime?
Ooh, Nightmare Prime. I like that.
That's a chef's kiss.
perfect.
And then a
Coveted
Dream Warrior.
Dream Warriors is like the
is
best.
the best of the best.
Oof.
So
I like this.
Okay,
This is
that's
great.
That's great.
This
I
is
love
wonderful.
it. I love it.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how we'll do it.
we got the rating system.
And then we're going to see that's all we've got. That's really it. So from here on out, we're gonna just kind of guess. We're gonna just figure out and see and put ourselves through the ringer.
I think we've already put in more effort than the people who made the show.
The people that made the show, if they find out that this show exists, they're gonna go,
Oh my God.
"What?"
What, Freddy being the host? That's not gonna work.
Yeah, and hey, by the way, some surprises along the way. You never know who might show up on Primetime Bitch of Freddy Nightmares podcast.
It is
so
true.
it could be worth
We could
your
have
while to
some
listen.
guests
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah. So you never know. Hey, you never know. I don't know. I certainly don't know anything. Okay, so that's our primer. Welcome to Springwood, Jack.
Welcome to Springwood,
I'm excited to
where
see.
dreams come true.
Yes!
Yay! It's perfect. This is great.
I can't wait. Okay, well, I guess keep an eye out for the very first episode of this new show, Primetime Bitch. And
Where we will be discussing the pilot episode.
That's right.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
I'm
I
excited.
can't wait.
All right.
Well, we'll see you around Springwood.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll work on an ending too.
Oh, yeah. Until then, pleasant dreams. Oh shit! We just constantly get the wrong. We constantly get the wrong thing.
Pleasant nightmares.
Candyman. Oh no!